Okay, so welcome to this session, and I'll be speaking on introduction to open source, and I'll be also talking about various technologies like GitHub, and also about the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program, what it is. So let's just begin with some open source applications. So as you can see here, there's Azure SDK, Bond, Linux, Firefox, VLC, Python. So the really cool thing is if I go ahead and search for, uh, let's just say I search for VLC source code, I can go ahead and you can see here, I can have a look at the VLC source code from here and basically various other open source organizations. What uh, I can basically see their code online. So what open source actually mean is open source software is like a software with whose source code like anyone can inspect it, modify it, make changes, insert something, delete something, find bugs, and basically enhance the application. So uh, enhance the application and basically improve all, find bugs and improve the user experience. So the what's the benefit for the authors in this? The authors, like, they made the source code of these application visible to everyone so that anyone can come and like contribute to it, basically see, have a look at the code, and then basically find some faults, find some features that can be added, find some issues with the code, and then basically try and modify the code. So suppose if the if the application is in a pre-rollout stage and it needs certain changes, but like suppose you have a very small team, or you want to do a lot of work, so what you can basically do is make your source code visible to all, and like so basically everyone can contribute to it, and with a collective work of the community, you can make your application like very user friendly, very perfect in a sense. And yeah, that's the main reason why like the application creators go for open source. Also, one more thing open source application provides is transparency. Like, you can basically see what is happening inside the code, what a function is doing, how the code is working, what are the logics behind it, what are the algorithms being used. Like these days we hear about Facebook, Google using fishy algorithms to like grab our attention, make us manipulate us, take our attention and towards their platform. So basically you can the code is not visible to us. So if whereas in an open source organization, you can have a look how these applications are actually working, like what algorithms are they implementing and all, and stuff like that. So this is like open source. And for the community, what's in it for the community? Basically, if you are into if you are like a new developer, like suppose you're a JavaScript developer like me, so you can go ahead, find projects that are built on JavaScript, and you can basically get some industrial knowledge of how what you learn. Like you attend a course or something, and you basically want to apply your knowledge somewhere, so you basically go ahead and you can have a look at the repositories of these various organizations. Let me get to the point of what repositories are. I'll get to it later. So you can basically have a look at the source code, and suppose you find something interesting, so you go ahead, you basically get that code in your local machine, make these changes, and then ask the owner of the repository to merge the changes in you. So all these might sound complex at the moment, but trust me, it is really easy. And so this is open source. This like this are these it's a great thing for the community to learn together, to learn together, move forward together. So also open source is a great way for beginners to apply their knowledge, Like you can not only big companies have their codes as open source. There are many small projects that are open source project. Basically, you can go there and have a look. If you like something, you can go ahead and contribute to their cause, and you get suppose there's a thing called Facebook Gist, which is like an open source project. You can go ahead and suppose you want to change something, you want to add something, you go ahead and you basically added a feature over there. And suppose this Facebook thing was used by millions of users like you. There's a sense feeling that you get that, oh, that something that I contributed to is being used by so many people across the globe. So that's open source. That's the community power of open source. And let's move ahead a bit. So let me tell you what Git is. You've been hearing everything about Git, GitHub, and all. Like, why? What even is Git? Why do you need it? So, what Git is basically a version control system at its very core. Like, what is a version control system? Suppose, like, you're working on some project. Even if you're working alone, you are making constant changes in these projects, right? You're like suppose changing something today, then you added some new few more stuff, deleted few more stuff, and you keep on working. But what you lose is that the ability to go back to a version that you were working on. Even if you like copied the version in your local machine and then basically made more and more copies as you started working on it, it doesn't seem feasible, right? Even if you sort it according to dates or whatever, but you cannot remember what exactly what changes I made, how much change I made in the code and stuff like that. So this is why a centralized version control system is needed. Also, like suppose if your project if you have a project that you want others to contribute to it. So suppose you have for a small, let's say a small scale example, you have 50 people working on your project. So what you do is you go ahead, you cannot like go ahead and send them each a copy via suppose email or like a Google Drive link. And suppose all 50 of them make some changes, make all different changes to your program. No, you're in a mess, right? You don't have control over your original source code, what happened to it, who made what changes, and how much change was made. And so you lose all these, what do you say, control over your code. And it's basically a mess. Suppose even if you manage somehow to get 10 changes of 10 people in your code, but it's like doesn't seem feasible to work in a team of 50 people and maintain every version of your code. So like Git is this is why Git was developed. It is a version control system. Now Git is not the only version control system there is. There are quite a few others, but Git is like a mainstream, what do you say, a version control system that is used by like almost everyone these days. And since you can guess it, it is an open source and free freely distributed system. From small to very large projects, it can handle everything. So this is like a basic functioning of Git. I'll be speaking on this. Let me just give you a brief idea. So what happens is how Git works. Suppose you have a code in your machine. Then what it basically does is when you go do add certain commands. I'll be talking about these commands in a while. When you add certain commands, it take the Git takes a snapshot of what your code looks like at the moment. All the files, I mean, irrespective of the what do you say, number of files, the size, it basically takes a snapshot of your code. And suppose you need a service that hosts your repository online. So that I'll be coming to later. But suppose you did that, you hosted your code in your repository, but now you want to make a change again. So what do? You come in your code and you modify something again, and now Git basically compares your current code with the earlier snapshot, like what are the changes being made. So it Get is smart enough to identify all these changes, and then again it like goes into the staging area, and then you do a commit to your repository. Okay, so this all theory might be like boring you. So let me just go ahead and create something, a new project over here. So let me make a new folder. I'll say it GitHub thing. So let's go ahead and where did it go? Yeah, over here. So I can open this in the terminal, and basically if you want to do some addition, you basically use a code editor, I guess. Whatever your liking is. I'm using Visual Studio Code, another masterpiece by Microsoft. I mean, this is a great application for you to manage your code. And let's create a index.html file real quick. Okay, so I can go ahead and create a dummy project. Let me name it something dummy, and let's add a HTML tag. Okay, so this is my code. I mean, this need not be a small code. This can be like
Yashraj,
yeah, hello.
uh, please increase your voice.
Increase my voice. Is it fine now?
No,
Hello.
not fine.
Is everyone else facing the same problem?
No, no, there is no
No,
problem.
sir, you're okay. Maybe he's having some problem.
Yeah,
Yes.
Dev, I think it's a problem on your side. Anyways, I'll try to speak out loud if that's a problem, but okay, let's move ahead. So this need not be a small code. You can like have a few thousand lines for all git gas. It basically manages everything. So you can go ahead, you created your project, and now there are certain git commands. Basically, if like wait, let me show you first how to install git. Okay, so you can go ahead and search git installation, and if you're on Windows, I mean, you can go ahead, click here, and wait a second. This is for Linux. Yeah, installing on Windows. You can go ahead, click on this link, and it will, I guess, give you a setup for Git, and you can go ahead and install. In the Windows version, you get a GUI, that is graphical user interface of Git, which is like user friendly, but I wouldn't recommend it. It causes more trouble than it solves. So you can go ahead and install Git. Like if you're on Linux like me, you can go ahead, copy this command. And if it's not already installed on your device, and to check that, you can basically, I'm sorry, that's not the command. It should say clear. Clear. Okay. You can go ahead and basically do git dash dash version, and if it gives you a valid version of git, then you're good to go with. Otherwise, you can go ahead and search for the installation process. It's like not very hard to install git. So if I would recommend you all to like note these commands down so that for a future reference, but I'll make sure that I'll provide you a git cheat sheet, so you can, if you want to take notes, you can obviously go ahead and do that. So let me clear out the terminal. And if I, the basic git command is git status. If I go ahead, it says fatal. It is not a git repository. So what a repository actually is, it is basically a place where your code is being held in the Git. So Git basically manage your codes in form of repositories. And yeah, that's so for making this folder a repository, I can wait. I need to go over here. Let me see what all. Okay, so I can basically type the command git init. What this would do is it will initialize my empty git repository. Now my repository is currently empty. As you can see, I have a index.html file, but it is not inside my git repository. As you, if I type my git status again, you can see no commits yet, untracked files. Untracked files means Git has recorded that this file doesn't exist in his, so to say, a database, so to say, but yeah, okay. It's not like Git does not have a track of these files, or if there are some untracked changes in these files. So suppose I now need to do like Git is smart enough to give you all the commands that you need to do. Okay, so it says here nothing added to the commit, but untracked files are present. It means Git has identified something that wasn't there earlier in your code, but so it says to use the git add to track this code. So I can go ahead and add get add, and I can type the file name over here. But suppose if I had a lot of files that needed to be added, I would basically do get add dot. This would add all the files into my git re- repository, so to say. And if I can go ahead and check the git status, it says git there are changes to be committed. Now suppose if I didn't wanna have this change, I can like again, now we're basically in the staging area. As you can see over here, let me show you, we are currently in the staging area because we whatever fixes we made in our code, like since this is a first commit, so I shouldn't say fixes, the untracked files are now tracked, and we're sitting in the staging area. And from the staging area, you can either revert back to your changes. You can go ahead and type git remove dash dash cached and type your file name. But I really don't want to do that right now because I want to have my git. You can basically do this command if you like. Suppose there were multiple files over here and you wanted that, okay, I don't want this file to go right now, so you can basically remove it. So if I now what I need to do is, if you can have a look at the flowchart, I need to commit this to the repository, to the git directory. So I can go ahead and do that. I will say git commit with a message. So what this message actually is, you need to specify like what you have done to this code. I mean, in a very brief manner, you need to like suppose I created the index.html file. So I'll go ahead and type created the index.index.html file. Okay, so this is done. This is it. You need this is the command git commit m dash m. Dash m means stands for a message, and this is your message that this is in brief what I did with the commit. So now it says created the index.html file. One file changed, 14 insertions. 14 insertion is basically, I guess, the number of lines that were there in the code. So since it was empty and it made 14 insertions, but when I change the code, I'll show you that in a minute. So I can now basically, what happens is basically my Git repository is ready to be hosted. But where do you host it? This is where like GitHub comes in. Just a second. Yeah, this is where GitHub comes in. Now, if I go ahead and type github.com, since I have already an account over here, it doesn't it basically displays everything. But if I just have a Google search about GitHub, I can go ahead, and if you are new to GitHub, you can basically go ahead, sign up with GitHub, and basically do whatever, create an account and do whatever you want to do with your repository. So if I already have an account, so I'll have go to the GitHub again, and basically this is my account. So I can, if you can see over here, there's a plus sign. I'll go ahead, click on a new repository. Yeah. So this is a page where you can create your new repository. I can basically name, like suppose I name it as test. I guess test already exists, so this would be test 2. You can add an optional description over here, add a readme file, add a license. What license is? License is basically you are allowing, you are like taking more control over your repository. You are you're like setting permissions, what the contributors can basically do with it. So you can go ahead and explore what what licenses are on GitHub by clicking on this button. And I'll now just create a repository. So now this, so it says if you've done this kind of thing before, you can basically copy this, but GitHub is like, you basically get everything over here, right? So it says, it displays all the command that you need to do over here. So I'll go ahead and I'll add get, just a second, what was the name? I need to copy this address. Okay, so I can go ahead and create a new branch. What branch really is, branch is like what do you say, suppose think of it like this. Suppose there is a tree, right? The main branch is your original code. Now you have to, if you want to do something else in some other branch, you can go ahead, like you can create an updates branch for like for the contributors to update into that branch, and then later you can merge these both branch into your main code. So this it's a generally a good practice to create different branches for different purposes. I'll go ahead and say get branch dash main branch and main, and when I do this, and to check what branch you are on, you can go ahead and do get branch. Now, suppose you want to make a new branch, you can go ahead and do get branch. And suppose I want to add a update branch in it. So I'll go ahead, create get branch updates. Now, if I go ahead and have a look of what branch I'm on, now you can see the star main means this is the current branch that you're on, and the updates branch is like it's there but you're not on it. So if I want to go on the updates branch, I can basically say get checkout updates. So it would switch branch to updates. Now if I run again get branch, show me my branch, it says, oh, I'm sorry, it's great, get branch. Yeah, now the star comes on the updates thing. So I really don't want my code to go into the updates thing, so I'll basically go back to get checkout main. So now I'm on the main branch. So let me, now what do I need to do? Okay, I need to add a get remote add origin. If you don't remember all these commands, it's like no issue. In the beginning, Git like provides you all these branches over all these uh, what do you say commands over here. You can basically go ahead, have a reference look at these. Suppose you want to do something else from this, you can go ahead, have a search like Git. Suppose I wanna say basic Git commands, and you can go ahead, have a look at all these commands over here and what everything does. So in case you forget anything, it shouldn't be an issue, you can easily find it. So now I basically need to add my address where I want this repository to be hosted on. So get remote at origin. This command is like a one-time command when you're basically creating your first commit. So this is like one-time thing. So you can go ahead, remote add origin and the address. So this is done. Now the next command should be get push dash u onto the main branch. So wait, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I need to add a get origin. You can go ahead and get u origin main. This is the first time that you will be using these commands. Only these two commands are basically the first time you're using it. So I'll make a change in the file and I'll show you again why I'm saying that. So wait a second, I need to switch back. Yeah, if I go ahead and refresh my page, you can see over here the index.html is here. You can basically have a look at your code, what your code really is. Let me hide this. Okay, you can go ahead and explore everything. Okay, so you can create pull request. I'll be talking about that in a minute. You can go ahead and check out settings, what all GitHub offers you. You can go ahead and check over here. And yeah, that's Git GitHub, and I'll be showing you how to explore GitHub more in a minute. But okay, let's go ahead and do something in our code. Hello friends, and let me add an H1. Okay, it's nice to have you all here. So it's nice to have you all here. And if I now go ahead and check out my Git status, it says that okay, you have certain modification in your index.html. If you want to discard these modification, you can go ahead and run this command, get restore and the file name. But if you deliberately did this, you can go ahead and the same procedure that we did a while back. So you can go ahead and add these changes to your Git directory. And now what basically Git did is the earlier snapshot that it took of this, it compared my modified HTML with that snapshot, and it basically found out that okay, wait, there are certain changes in your file. If you want to remove these changes, you can go ahead and type this command, or else if you want to add these changes, you can go ahead and git add .a. Dot means you are committing all the changes into it. So I'll go ahead and you know the flow, I guess by now you go ahead and it's like a good practice to check your git status every time you add a command, just so you know that nothing is going wrong. So you can go ahead and you know the workflow, get commit dash m, and you basically say like modified the body. This is the change that I made. I'll go ahead and git commit. So now you can see that there's one insertion in it, and I guess one deletion. I guess it's cause of the spacing thing, I guess. Yeah. One file change, one insertion. So Git compares it with the snapshot. It says, okay, there's one insertion and one deletion, and you can go ahead and check the status now. Now it says you're on branch main. Your branch is ahead of origin main by one commit. It means like, okay, your original file that was your that original branch that was your main. There are certain changes that your local thing has over here. So it says that you're ahead by one commit. So I don't want to be ahead. I want to be in a symphony with my what to say the repository that I have hosted on GitHub. So this time I don't have to do again git push add origin and stuff like that. But I don't have to do it now. I'll basically do git push, and this should do it. Now it says okay. So this is like the changes committed to your main repository. And if I go ahead, damn, what is it? Yeah. If I go ahead and refresh it, you can see the your commit message. Basically, it comes over here, so you can see whatever what all changes you did in it. So yeah, you can have a look over here. I It's nice to have you all here. Is now in your Git repository also. So these were some basic Git commands. Now let me show you what GitHub has to offer to you. So let me suppose you're a JavaScript developer like me. So you can go ahead and you can like type JavaScript over here. I should type JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript. Yeah. So this will display all the repositories that have a link like a JavaScript tag or a JavaScript name, something like that. So I can go ahead and check out everything. Like suppose if I want to, there is it. Okay, so suppose this seems interesting. So I clicked over here and I see that okay, this is cool. This is nice. You have a README file basically. So you tell the users that okay, this is how you need to install the code. This is how my code is actually working. What it is doing. So let me show you something that I recently so to say worked upon. It's called Paper Vault. Okay. Uh, sorry, I should go on all GitHub. If I go over here, you can see that this is a repository of my college basically, and it's a paper vault. Okay, so GitHub also provides you a platform to host static pages. I'll show you how to do that in a minute, but let's just keep things simple now. So you can see here it says merged a pull request from this. So what you basically need to do is, suppose I came here, I saw this code. I thought that okay, I can do some modifications in it, and I thought okay, let's do that. For that, you basically go ahead and click on fork. Now, fork basically copies. It's like suppose you have a dish in front of you, and you are set to decorate, suppose a cake. So what you do is you take that cake in your plate and basically do all these changes again, and you ask the owner of that cake basically, okay, so I've made these changes. If you like it, you can merge it with your original thing. So now, if the owner of the repository feels like okay, this change is useful, it basically takes your change and merges it into the uh, main so to say repository, main branch so to say. So if you go ahead and when I forked it, you might have noticed that this changed to Yashraj02 and paper vault. So this is basically my forked repository. So to copy this thing into your local machine, you can go ahead, open files. Suppose I want to go. Okay, okay. Let's create a new folder for this. What should I call it? Example. You can go ahead and now I'll open this in the terminal. So I guess this terminal we're done with, but still let me minimize it. So now we are into this directory, and what I need to do is I need to type the command git clone, and what it does is it goes to the address, this address, it finds your git repository over there, and it says okay, let me take this to my local machine, and it says cloning into paper vault, receiving objects. Now it's done, and if I have a look at my the what to say, the directory now, it says paper vault. So a paper earlier it wasn't present. Now the paper vault from this yeah, here, from this repository is now into your local machine. So if I go ahead and if I say change the directory to paper vault, and if I have a look over here, it says git status, your branch is up to date with origin master, nothing to commit, working tree clean. This is because you haven't made any changes in it, right? So so far I have done nothing. So if I go here and let's say I go into the index.html, and basically suppose I find that this href is not linked to anything. So I go ahead and I do okay. So go to the index.html page. When you click on it, so I'll hit save. And now if I go into my terminal and I add git status, the git basically again compares it with the original snapshot, and it finds that okay, you have modified your index.html. What you want to do, you want to add these changes or you want to restore the original file. So I want to add these changes. So the same workflow again, git add, git commit, and this time what I did was, let's suppose I say that added the link to homepage, not a whole page, homepage. Uh, yeah, that was funny. So when I get
Nusraj, I guess you're muted.
Yash, you're on mute.
Since how long? Hello? Hello?
For the past like 3 minutes.
30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds. Okay, let me revert back to this. Okay, so where did you guys stop hearing me? Where was I? If you can point out.
After that, PJ.
After what?
After you committed to the like last
Okay,
commit,
okay,
added
okay.
link to the home
Over
page.
here. Okay, added link to the home page. So basically, you go ahead, check this status of it, and you see that okay, your branch is ahead of origin master by one commit. So basically, this change is not tracked. It's not in it's not synchronized with your original repository that is being hosted on GitHub. So it says okay, you're ahead by one commit now. To merge this commit with my repository, I go ahead and type the command git push. Now this basically these 3 or 4 commands are like you'll be doing like 75% of your work with all just these commands, and git clone, git add, git commit, git status, git push, and git pull. I'll show you what git pull is in a minute. So this are the basic commands. Now if I go ahead and have a look, wait a second. Okay. Yeah, and if I have a look, if I refresh it, you can see over here it says added link to the home page. So this change, I made it into my forked repository. So what do I do now? So I go ahead and I click on pull request, and I go ahead and I do a new pull request. So what I'm actually doing is that I'm asking the owner of this repository to basically say him, hey, that this is my repository on my device, and I made certain changes to it. Can you please compare these changes, review these changes, and if you like it, you can merge it with your with your code. So I go ahead and I do create a pull request. I say suppose don't add this because I don't really want this to be added. Uh, and I go ahead and I create a pull request. So what it basically does is now I'm prompted to the original thing again, and you can see over here that this pull request is open now. Now the one who is the owner of this repository can basically like merge this pull request into its original file. So this is it. This was the workflow, how you work on Git. And also let me tell you about a basic command. Suppose you're working with this project, okay, and there are like suppose someone else is working with you too on this project. So you go ahead and you made certain changes in your code, and the other guy made some changes in it too, and the other guy created a like a committed to this code, and now this code is changed. But what you have is you have a image of the code that was there before the commit, before your friend committed to it. So in this case, what you need to do is you can go ahead and do a git pull. So since there are no changes over here, if I do git pull it, it should say that it is already up to date because there aren't any changes that someone else has made to the code. So it would basically do nothing right now. But if there were some changes, like if your suppose if your code didn't match with that of the repository, this it would like bring those changes in your file without affecting the changes that you have made locally. So I guess these were some basic Git commands. Now let me show you some really cool projects on over here. So if you go ahead and you do like buddy base, suppose. Not in this repository. I need to go in all GitHub. So if I come here and I have a look at, okay, this is a JavaScript project, and you can see an shoes column over here. It basically says that as you can see over here, by this guy, by this guy, there are so many guys working on this thing. So this is like a benefit of open source. Like you have, suppose there are 76 different issues in this, and all suppose they are by 50 people, 50 different people copied your code, ran it into the device, found these changes that should have been made, and made your code in a way better. So you go ahead and review all these issues. If you find usage, like you can go ahead and see over here. So it says that okay, these are something we need to update what analytics we collect. So if you have certain idea how you can do it, you can go ahead and since this issue is open, you can go ahead and resolve this issue. And basically this is how you contribute to open source, like issues, finding and recommending some changes, finding bugs and all. Basically if you're a beginner, you can go ahead and suppose I have a friend, and I type over here Tatha Katha. So since like if my okay, I cannot see him over here, I don't know why, but okay. So over here, where can I see my friends in it? Oh, not over here. Let me just do this. Okay, so suppose Pax, he did something. I can go ahead and basically check out his repositories. If I find something really interesting, I can go ahead and have a look what he is trying to do. So I can go ahead and copy this link, git clone. You know the work. You know the working, like how things are, how you do things. So this is it. This is how you contribute to open source basically. And I hope this was cool. And I'll be taking questions now. So if you have anything, any doubts, please go ahead and ask me. Hello. Anyone, if you have any doubt, please come up.
I don't have a doubt, but do you think it would be nice if we started collaborating on some open source program within the college, within our first
Yeah,
unit
yeah,
of
yes, of course, yes, of
first
course,
year curriculum?
it is totally feasible if you have a look at if you have a look
Uh,
at
I have done. I have seen. You have actually done this kind of thing before also.
yeah.
So I saw that, and I am quite comfortable with using it. So what should we? Do you have any idea that we can do to get used to this thing and actually implement this in real life?
Yeah, the thing
Or
is like
we
In
can
a
do
few
one
days,
thing. We
Apo.
can
What do you
we
tell?
can
yeah.
do one. Listen. We can do one thing. Actually, sir will give us those assignments, but we can use means we write those assignment and other people can see if there is any mistake or they can make it even better. We can this way we can share the assignments among ourselves, although it won't be strictly legal
Okay,
in
okay.
a
Yeah, in a sense, but yeah, it's totally feasible. You can go ahead, create a repository and have everyone have a look at it. So that is the general workflow. And from that, how do beginners find their place in the open source thing? Because if you go ahead and if you go ahead and straight away jump up with some big organization, let's say I go ahead and see where Kubernetes is.
yeah, it would
I
be
hope I
more
spelled it
complicated
right.
for us to understand.
Yeah. In the beginning, or dude, what is the spelling for Kubernetes? Kubernetes.
KUBRNE.
N-E-T-E-S. Yeah. Kubernetes. If I go ahead and have a look at it, so this all like might feel overwhelming to you at the beginning. So what you can do is you can, like, suppose I'm working on something.
Shraj,
Let
you
me
are
show
saying
you.
something?
Am I? Did I go mute again? Hello.
No,
No,
you're
you're
not.
not.
We can hear you.
Okay, suppose you so this can be overwhelming for beginners. So if you go ahead and like you cannot I mean, I'm not challenging your skills or something, but this can certainly be overwhelming for you in the beginning. So when you start with working with projects, you can, like, suppose you know me, right? So you can go ahead and check out my repository. So suppose
Yes.
you
And
found this, that,
if I
okay, this gym website. Yeah, Akash, let me come back to you in a minute. Let me yeah, I'll come back to you. So you found that, okay, this is nice, this is cool that Yash is working on something. Let me basically add some new features to it. Let me see. So I'll you can basically at the beginning you can go ahead and have a look at your friends' repositories, what they are doing, and go ahead and make changes to them, apply your knowledge, and basically enhance your knowledge, so to say. And this is how you work on Git. Now once you have like a good knowledge of your domain, you can go ahead. Suppose if you want to, like, if your domain is machine learning, so if I go ahead and do machine learning, not in this user, I don't know about machine learning yet. Yeah, if you go ahead and search for machine learning over the GitHub, you can find numerous repositories that are based on machine learning. You can pick any one of them and start contributing to it. So this is how you work with Git and GitHub. And so I guess we're cool. If you have any more doubts, Akash, you can go ahead and yeah, whatever you want to say.
I don't, I'm not questioning anything. I was just saying that the main problem which I understood means I was when I was exploring the GitHub a bit. The main problem is not how to use GitHub. The main problem is
Yeah,
looking into
yeah,
someone
looking
else's
fine.
code and
Yeah,
looking into
trying to
someone
understand it.
else's code and trying to understand what they have written. It's
Yeah.
very means I cannot understand my own code after I have written. This is the
Happens with
problem.
everyone. That is why you have that is why many open source organizations, they like encourage people who are ready to do documentation work for them, like adding comments, spaces, and all. These are like, you can begin with this. When I started open sourcing, my first thing was like I added spaces to a repository. I don't remember the name of it. Like, I there were for loops and all, and I went and I added spaces, added few comments what this was doing. Okay, how much I understand. And the open source community, basically, they help you a lot. If you're a total beginner, and why does this keep muting me again and again? If you're a total beginner, or like even a pro, there is always a space for you in the open source community. There are always people to help you out, and you, if you want to find them, the many repositories have their own Discord servers. You can go ahead and interact with people. If you don't understand the project at the moment, you can go ahead and ask the like the mentors of these repositories, that, okay, I'm really interested in your project, but I don't know stuff at the moment. Can you suggest me where I learn, or can you suggest me the way ahead? So these guys really help you out. I mean, you should always like reach out for help to everyone. And talking about communities, this Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors is like a really, really great community that I've found. I mean, I applied in April, and I can only speak in what do you say, a praise about it, that these guys are really cool. They help you out. I mean, I can see Arpita ma'am over here, and she basically all she knows all this stuff, I guess, but still she is here to support me. And this is what you need. Okay, you need a support from the community. And if you want to be a part of a community, you can go ahead, and if you want to be a Microsoft student ambassador, you can go ahead and search for it, like Microsoft student ambassador. So I can go ahead, click over here. As you can see, the applications are open. Wait, the applications are open, but the page is not. So you can go ahead and click on apply here, but since I'm already a member, but so you can go ahead, apply over here. It's a really great community. I mean, the people over here are like always willing to help you out. There are events organized over various tech domains every, like, I can even say on weekends there are events on every hour. So this is a really great community. And if you want to ask any more question about it, about anything, you can go ahead and ask me, please. I'd be really happy to answer your queries. Anyone? Hello.
Yes.
Uh, guys, if you have any doubt, please, like ask me anything about the community. You can ask me. You can ask me about GitHub, or how do you explore? How do you find repositories? Anything. If you want to like go ahead and ask me, please. So okay, someone like texted me just now. He wants to learn how do you actually find repositories. I mean, to contribute to. So if you go ahead and let me switch out from this, I'll go ahead and type good first issues. So good first issues. You can go ahead and this is basically a website over here. So if you have anything you want to like, suppose you are a JavaScript developer, so you can go ahead and see over here that okay, there are two issues in this thing. So you can go ahead, check out these issues. Why is it not opening? Okay, add suite method shorthand. Okay, I'll go ahead and see that this okay, this is a issue. I want to contribute to it. I know how I can resolve it. You can go ahead, find this. So they basically I'm really sorry. Basically all the good what do you say, repository owners, they add good first issues a section, so you can basically explore it, that show me some good first issues on GitHub. So there are basically commands for it. You can go ahead and learn, like I can search how get how array, how to find tags on GitHub. You can go ahead, read that docs, and try and find your way out. So yeah, you can go here. You can see everything that they have to offer, versions and all. Okay. Okay. So someone also texted me that they need to learn how to you host static pages. So I just created a commit, right? So I'll go ahead and I'll go into my repositories. Where is it? Where is it? Test 2. Okay. Come on. Yeah, you can see over here that this is not currently hosted anywhere. Let me add a readme file real quick. Okay, so my readme file is over here. So if I go into the settings now, and basically they have earlier it used to be over here. So now they have a new tab, so you can check it out over here. And now you can select your source from which branch you want to uh, like if there were multiple branches, then you can select any one of these branch that you want to host. So this is where I want to host, and if I click on save, then it says your site is ready to be published at. So if I go over here and sorry, I need to do index.html. Okay, I guess they haven't loaded my thing yet. Oh, I shouldn't have closed it. If I go back now, and by then they need some time to host it, I guess. Happens all the time. You can go ahead and check it out once again. Then go into the settings again, and you can click on pages, and you'll find that your site is published at over here. So this is my code. So it's great for hosting static pages, but you need to like keep in mind that you cannot host a backend over here. So okay, this is it. Okay, there's one more query about the GitHub. What do you say? GitHub student program, student developer pack. So if I go over here, and since you're a college student, you can apply for this. And if you click over get your pack over here, you'll get your GitHub student developer pack. So these are all the offers. I mean, you can just keep on scrolling down. It offers you so much. You can have a look at what all features interest you, and you can basically click on them to learn how do you apply things. And yeah, I guess this is it. This is how you do it. So if you don't have any more queries, I would also suggest you to go ahead and get your GitHub pack, student developer pack now. So you get all these benefits. So if there are no doubts, I think you guys can leave. Thank you for attending this session, and I really hope you got to learn something from this.
That was great, actually. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Arpita ma'am, I had a small doubt. If I click right now on the stop recording, it should mail me the video, right?
You can find it on your OneDrive.
Okay. If I stop recording now, it basically goes into
Yes.
my OneDrive. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You can also find it once you end this chat. It should be as a thread.
Okay.
Also, just for a note, you don't have to call me ma'am.
Yeah, sure. I'll keep that in mind.